Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning a tune that needs no introduction. It's Greensleeves. Now you may also know this song as What Child Is This? Because the melody was taken from Greensleeves and set to the lyrics of that Christmas carol. But let's talk a little bit about this arrangement. So as you guys heard, this is going to be a great piece for the beginner fingerstyle player. And the big thing with this tune is that it will need a low G ukulele. What's kind of interesting about this arrangement is that a lot of the melody notes fall onto the bass strings. So string 4, especially with that low G, string 4 and string 3. So a lot of fingerstyle pieces you may have played thus far have put the melody all on string 1. So this is kind of a unique little twist and a cool approach to arrangement writing. But let's talk a little bit about this lesson. So in this video, we're going to learn the entire tune, but if you want to get the tabs to print out and follow along with, that's going to be available at this link right here, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Greensleeves. Now on that page, you'll also be able to access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into learning it. Now a couple things we need to talk about really quick. The first one is that this song is in 3/4. So we want to keep in mind that we have 1, 2, 3, next measure, 1, 2, 3, next measure, and so forth. And the second point, which this ties into that, is that we're going to be counting out rhythms as we go throughout this. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation and you really want to understand how rhythm and timing connect, then I highly encourage you to check out our notation course. This course is going to teach you how to read standard notation, and Greensleeves is actually one of the tunes that's in it. Now the next point I want to talk about is our right hand, and this song opens itself up to many different ways to play it. So we could use a thumb approach where our thumb plays everything. So anything on string 4, anything on 3, 2, or 1, strumming chords, single note hits, our thumb does all the work. Or we could use a 3-finger approach where thumb gets string 4 and 3, index gets string 2, middle gets string 1, or we could do a 4-finger approach where each finger gets its own string. So kind of a cool tune in that regard is that it opens itself up to a lot of different finger picking approaches. And by the way, if you're new to studying any of those 3 approaches, then check out our finger picking concepts course. It goes super in depth and gives you exercises for each approach. All right, so let's jump into it. So the first thing is that I've broken this song into 2 parts. So we have theme 1 and theme 2. Each theme is 16 bars in length, but we don't have 16 bars to learn. We have quite a lot less because this song has a lot of repetition. So a lot of bars are just going to get repeated again. So it makes it a bit easier to learn. All right, so let me go ahead and play the first couple bars and then we'll break it down and learn how to do it. Here's what it sounds like. So we're actually kicking off on a pickup note. So we have a pickup bar, and that's just going to be 1/4 quarter note. So remember, we're in 3/4, so we want to be thinking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, bum ba da 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 da. So we want to start on beat 3. So if I count 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're hitting our first note on that third beat. And that first note is going to be a note out of the D minor chord. So to make the D minor chord, we're going to take the middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 4, ring finger underneath, that's 2nd fret of string 3, index finger goes on the 1st fret of string 2, and then we have an open A. So we're going to pluck string 3 by itself. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, bum. Okay, so that kicks us into bar 1. So bar 1 is just going to be 2 notes. We're going to strum this D minor chord, or we can pluck it. So either or. I want you guys to try both. If you strum, you're going to, let's say, take the thumb, strum 4 to 2. So you want to stop on string 2. Or you can pluck. So you could try with thumb, index, and middle. And you can pluck 4, 3, and 2. So try both and see which one you like. And as you get through a little bit into this tune, you'll start to hear that you may prefer to strum on one hit here and maybe pluck on another hit there. And I'll give you guys some suggestions as we go through it too. But for right now, try both and pick the one that you like the most. Now you may notice that I do kind of a unique little strum where it's a flick approach. So when I strum down, I'm going to strum down with the nail of my index on string 4 and 3. But when I get to string 2, I'm going to use my middle finger to pluck that note. So it's kind of like a flick in that way. And what that does is it highlights the melody note, which is string 2. So I really want that note on string 2 to pop. So this little flick approach really makes it pop. So if you're new to our lessons, then I'm going to put a link to our lesson on Ukulele. And in that lesson, I broke down the mechanics behind executing this flick strum approach. So I'll put that in the description box below, and I'll make sure that it starts at that time frame in the lesson so you can jump straight to learning how to do the technique. But that's another one you could try for this piece. So really, really cool technique that you can mix or throw into your playing to make melody notes pop. Okay, so we're going to hit strings 4 to 2 for the first hit of this first bar. And we're going to hold that out for 2 beats, and then we're going to use our pinky to play the 3rd fret of string 2. Okay? So all together, if we add that pickup, we have 1, 2, 3, strum, 2, and then 3rd fret of string 2. So you can see that I keep that chord intact while I add that pinky to play the 3rd fret of string 2. So the idea is to let everything sustain. Okay, so I want these other notes to sustain and make the song sound nice and pretty, so everything rings into each other. So let's see if we can try that. We'll go pick up into the first bar. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, strum, 2, 3. Nice. From here, lift the pinky up, we don't need it. Lift the ring finger up, we don't need it. And now we have an F chord. So 2nd open, index open. Okay, so we're going to strum or pluck. If you pluck, 4 fingers. If you strum, you can go with the index nail, you can go with the thumb, the flesh of the thumb, or you can try the flick approach. This time, if you do the flick approach, you're going to strum down with the nail of the index for 4, 3, 2, and pluck up with the flesh of the middle for string 1. Okay, and again, that will make the melody note pop, which in this case, it's string 1. Okay, so give all of those a shot. Pick the one that you like. So we're going to hit all four. We're going to hold that out for a beat and a half. So 1 and 2. Now on the end of 2, you're going to play the first fret of string 1 and then the open A. So to do this, we are going to lift the middle up, drop the index straight down to the first fret, play that note, and then lift it up. Okay, so I have 1 and 2 and 3. Now if we put that into context, we all know the melody starts to make sense. Okay, so let's see if we can try just that bar by itself. If I counted 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so ba da da. 1 and 2 and 3. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's slow it down. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's backtrack. So pick up into the first 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, strum, 2, 3, strum, 2, and 3. Nice. And if I play without counting, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now going into our third bar, we're going to take the ring and we're going to put it on the 3rd fret of string 2. So we have a C5, so open, open, 3rd fret of string 2. So ignore string 1. So just like we saw in bar 1, we're going to strum this or pluck it, and it's going to last 2 beats. So a half note. 1, 2. Then on beat 3, you're going to lift that ring up, play the open E. So we have strum, 2, open E. Okay, so let's give that a shot. 1, 2, 3, strum, 2, open. So next part, bum, ba, da. Okay, so we're going into an A minor. If we put 3rd and 4th bar together, it gives you a better context of what we're covering. Right, so ba, da, 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 da. Okay, so for our 4th bar, we're into A minor. So this one we probably know, just middle up top on string 4, 2nd fret. So we're going to pluck 4 and 3. You're going to hold that out for a beat and a half. And then it gets a little tricky here. We're going to use the ring finger to play the 2nd fret of string 3 and then the open E. So same rhythm as bar 2 where we had 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so cram that finger underneath the middle and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. So you and I, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Nice. If we backtrack 3rd into 4th bar, so C5. 1, 2, 3. Strum, 2, open, pluck, 2 and 3. Nice. Now if we backtrack, let's try pick up into measure 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, strum, 2, 3, strum, 2, and 3, strum, 2, 3, pluck, 2, and 3. Nice. Now, for our 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th bar, so 5 through 8, this is ending 1. So that means that we are playing out of a repeat sign, right? Think of measure 1 through 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8 is ending 1. Once you get finished with measure 8, you're going to go back to measure 1, which is technically 9. So you're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and then you're going to go into ending 2, which will be 4 more bars. So in total, you have 16 bars. But let's go ahead and backtrack and let's take a look at just measure 5. So this is the first bar for ending 1. So I'm going to play 5 into 6. Sounds like this. let's break that one down. So start with that D minor again. Same as before, we're going to hit 4 to 2. And then on beat 3, we're going to play string 3. So it's the same as the first measure. So we have strum, hold, and then string 3. Okay, so rhythmically, 1, 2, 3. All right, so since we've already played that, we'll skip to the next one, measure 6. We're going to be playing out of this chord right here. I'll put it up there. It's a B flat. But we don't have to make the full partial bar chord shape. Partial bar chord means that we are doing a bar chord but not covering all 4 strings. So partial either 2 or 3 strings. So if you are new to tackling these kind of chords though, even though they're not in this tune, what's really important is our form of the left hand. And the form means what's happening behind the neck, not only in front of the neck. So if you want to really work on getting proper form, which helps you build finger strength and get these chords down, check out this lesson on proper left hand form. But going back to this, all we have to do is use the top 2 strings, so string 4 and 3. So we're going to use our ring for the 3rd fret of string 4, middle plays the 2nd fret of string 3. Okay, so beyond fingertips, index is going to float and it's going to be in position to play on the 1st fret. So this measure sounds like this. Okay, so that index needs to float above that 1st fret of string 3 because it needs to play that as the 2nd note. So I have 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so I'm going to pluck 4 and 3, hold it for a beat and a half, lift the middle finger up, put the index down on the 1st fret of string 3, play that note, and then put the middle back down and play the 2nd fret again. This entire time that ring stayed anchored. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. Pluck and 2 and 3. Awesome. So if we backtrack, let's try 5 into 6. Here we go. D minor. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. Now from here, lift the ring finger up, take that middle, move it straight up to the 2nd fret of string 4. You're going to be playing out of an A chord, but we don't need to put the index finger down just yet because the first hit only requires us to play string 4 and the open E. Okay, here's what these last 2 bars sound like. All right, so let's tackle this. So again, we're starting with middle, almost like it's an A minor chord, but don't hit the open C. So pluck 4 and 2 together. Now add the index. So we're adding it at the time the music calls for it, which is beat 3. So I have 1, 2, 3. Okay? If we speed up a little bit, you can hear that. I'll play from 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. So you see I added it when I needed it. That makes chord transitions much easier. So if you're ever playing songs, stop for a moment and think about what's happening. Do I have to go immediately like that? Or is the song like a finger picking and maybe I'm going where I have a little bit more leeway and a little bit more time before I have to add every finger down, right? So a helpful tip. Now going into our next measure, we're going to keep this A chord intact and all we're going to do is play string 4 and then we can add our ring finger again just as before and put it directly underneath that middle finger. So it's the 2nd fret of string 3. So we have a half note, 1, 2, followed by a quarter, 3. So 7 and 8 together, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nice. Let's backtrack 5 through 8. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now you want to use these fingers because remember how I said earlier, at the end of 8, you backtrack into measure 1, but technically it's measure 9. But you're going back into measure 1. Remember, measure 1 was a D minor, so all you have to do at this point is drop the index straight down to the first fret, second string. So you drop it straight down to the first fret, second string. And you're back into measure 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. So those first 4 bars are going to get played again. Technically, they're 9, 10, 11, and 12. But for the context of making this bar numbers match the tablature, we're just going to consider them 1 through 4 again. All right, so going into ending number 2, it will sound like this. So pretty simple, especially the last couple bars, but let's start with this 9th bar. So we're going to go 4 to 2. So same approach for that D minor we did before, right? So don't hit string 1. So strum 4 to 2. At this point, you're going to lift the index finger up and play the open E, and then play string 3. So you notice those 2 fingers stay anchored. So I have strum O2, so strum, second string, third string. Rhythmically, we have 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, slow. 1 and 2 and 3. Now at this point, you're going into an A. So you want to lift the ring up while putting the index down simultaneously. So that middle finger, notice that it stayed anchored. But that movement coming up, going down, happens in unison. So again. All right, so hit pause and practice that transition. So for this A, you're plucking 4 and 3. And then here's a little hard one. You have to use the pinky to play the 4th fret of string 4. So this is actually a great practice for using the pinky. Now, one thing that I noticed that a lot of beginners struggle with is mobility with their pinky finger. So it's not only strength, right? Because the pinkies are weakest fingers, so it's harder to fret notes. And a lot of times beginners will ignore using the pinky because of that reason. It's not as strong as these 3 fingers. But the other reason is mobility. So having proper left hand form, as I pointed in that lesson earlier talking about partial bar chords, that lesson also covers how your hand should be. So we want to make sure that we have agility for all 4 fingers. Right? If we have any kind of awkward form, like our hand is sticking out like this, like if it's curving out too much like that and you're bent at that wrist, look at how I can't even bend my finger to stay straight, right? So proper left hand form ensures that we have dexterity and mobility to use all 4 fingers. So check out that lesson if you're having a little bit of trouble with this reach around to the 4th fret, okay? So again, I'm plucking the A, strings 4 and 3. Then I'm going to fret the 4th fret of string 4 with my pinky. And then after that, lift it up and play string 3 again. So those 2 stay down. 1 and 2 and 3. So we have the same rhythm as before. So dotted quarter, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Awesome. Backtrack, let's try 9 into 10. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Awesome. Awesome. Now, at this point, you're going to go back to that D minor shape. So we actually don't need the index finger. All we have to do is lift the index up, or you can keep it down, but I'd probably lift it up because we need to move it for the start of the second theme. But for this point, I would just play second and third finger on the second frets. So string 4 and 3. And you're going to hit that twice. So once for the 11th bar and once for the 12th bar. So you let it ring out for 3 beats each. If you put it in a context, you can hear how much more that makes sense. So I have... Okay, so if I count it, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try all of those 4 bars together. 1, 2, go. 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, done. Alright guys, so that gives us everything for ending 2. So let's try this. Let's try the first 4 bars and then going into ending 2. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Done. Awesome. So that's the last 8 bars. So remember, you're going to play the first 4 and then the ending 4 bars. That gives you 8. Then you go back and you play 1 through 4 again. Technically it's 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you play ending 2, which is the one that we just covered. So that gives you all of theme 1, which is 16 bars total. Now let's go ahead and jump into theme number 2. And what you're going to notice is that theme 2 is basically a copy and paste of the majority of bars of theme 1. So there's not much to learn in terms of completing the music for this piece, which is good news for us because it makes learning easier. If there's less bars but a lot of repetition, then we don't have to learn as much. But it still is memorizing the form, and that can be a little bit tricky. So let's go ahead and start it and talk about what's happening at what point in the music. So kicking off, the first couple bars sounds like this. So we are noticing that we are starting with an F variation. So make that basic F chord. And all we have to do is add our pinky finger to the 3rd fret of string 1. So I have 2nd, open, 1st, 3rd fret. Now this chord, I would suggest you guys practice going into. So think about the transition of the last bar. We had, all you have to do to transition to this new F is lift the ring up, you don't need it, put the index down as if it's a basic F, and put the ring finger down on that 3rd fret of string 1. But you want to try to do it in unison. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bum. So you want those two to go down. 2, 3. About the same time. Now, if one goes a little bit faster than the other, that's fine, but don't have any kind of lag where it's da, da, right? We want them to be pretty close to unison. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Practice that transition. But with this chord in mind, the first bar for theme 2, this is on the tablature, measure 13. We're going to hit it and let it ring out for the entire duration of the bar, so 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Now the next bar, you're going to hit it and then walk a melody down on string 1. So it's going to go 2nd and then open A. So I have strum to O, Okay, so I have 1, 2, and 3. So we see that rhythm popping up a lot. So strum 2 and 3. Okay, so lift that pinky up, put the ring down on the 2nd fret, and then play the open A. Let's give just that measure a shot. 1, 2, 3. Strum 2 and 3. Nice. If we backtrack, let's try 1 and 2. Again, this on the tab is 13 and 14. 1, 2, 3. Strum 2, 3. Strum 2 and 3. Nice. Now, here's the cool thing. The next 2 bars are identical to bar 3 and bar 4 of theme 1. So this is technically the 3rd and the 4th bar of theme 2. They're identical to the 3rd and the 4th bar of theme 1. So that means you go back to C5, A minor, and you play everything the same. So we had bum, ba, da, da, da. Okay, if we put that together, let's see if we can go from F to C5 and then A minor. So the first 4 of theme 2, 1, 2, 3, strum 2, 3, strum 2 and 3, C5, 2, 3, A minor, 2 and 3. Nice. Now, seeing repetition again, we have the same format where it's 5, 6, 7, and 8 is ending 1, and then you go back and you play those same first 4 bars, and then you go into the last 4 bars, which is ending 2. So the same format as theme 1 happens here, but here's the interesting thing. These next 4 bars, this is ending 1, they're identical for one, except for one minor thing. But they're identical to 5, 6, 7, and 8 of theme 1. So you're back into D minor, B flat, A. Remember how you don't add the index until it's needed for that one? Okay. The only difference here is that 8th bar, we're going to stop with the first note. So check this out. I'll play 5, 6, 7, and 8. That one note is the only note you play for this section right here. Okay, so let's go through the first 8 for theme 2, and I'll call out that last change at the end as well. So remember, start with the variation of F, pinky down. 1, 2, 3. Strum 2, 3. Strum 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's it. Now, the 8th bar of theme 1, we played an extra note on B3, but you don't have that for theme 2. So you're just holding out this A note for the entire duration of that bar. So at that point, again, you go back and you play those first 4 bars. Then you go into ending 2. Ending 2 sounds like this. Sounds familiar, right? Those are the first 2 for ending 2. Those first 2 of ending 2 is identical to the first 2 of ending 2 of theme 1. So a lot of repetition happening. So it was D minor to A, right? And that was that pinky, the stretch with the pinky. So those 2 bars are identical. And then you have a cool ending. And I'm going to give you 2 ways to play it. The last 2 bars sound like this. Okay, let's look at the easy way to play this. And that's going to be to simplify it. So we're removing some of the bass notes. And that sounds like this. Okay, so to do that, This is the second to last bar. You're going to play the 5th fret of string 1 with your pinky, play the open A, then use your index finger for the 1st fret of string 2, and then the middle for the 2nd fret of string 3. So I have 5, 0, 1st, 2nd. Okay? You can even add a little ritardando in this, which means to gradually slow down. Or you can play it with an even timing. It's all quarters. 1, 2, 3, and then that last note lasts the last bar. Now, to play the bass version, it's a little bit more difficult. We're going to do an octave shape. So pinky goes again, 5th fret of string 1. Index is the 2nd fret of string 3. You're going to pluck those 2 notes together. From here, use the middle to play the 2nd fret of string 4. Hit the open A with it. Then add the index to the 1st fret of string 2. And then the ring finger underneath that 2nd fret of string 3. You see it forms the D minor chord. Bum, ba, da, dum. Okay, so take a little bit to get used to that. Middle, index, ring. In the context, those last 4 ending 2. And you can do a little bit of a ritardando. I think it sounds nice. Let's see if we can try those last 4. So do the easier or the full way, up to you. Here we go. Last 4 bars, ending 2. 1, 2, 3. Strum, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Done. Okay, so that's everything for this tune, guys. So really, out of theme 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Half of the bars were identical to bars you played in theme 1. So that cut down our learning tremendously. So take this tune and, break it into sections. Don't try to play all 16 bars of theme 1 right at the get-go, right? Break it into little sections. So what we've done throughout this lesson is we've done 4 bars at a time. So we did 1 through 4, then we did 5 through 8, and then we did 1 through 8. So practice with that same mentality by breaking it into little chunks. So practice 1 through 8 for today. Then tomorrow you can do the 9 through 16, right? Break it in half first, then all of it. And then for the 3rd day, you could try 1 through 16 and then tackle the second half of the tune the same way. And in a week, you have the entire song learned and you approached it in a easy to digest manner. So let's do this before we wrap up. Let's try the theme 2, 1 through 4, and then ending 2. So we'll do the last 8. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Slow. Nice. So that's going to be the greatest and best way to approach learning it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is a beautiful melody, a lot of fun to play. Kind of cool that a lot of the melody notes fell onto these top strings because a lot of times they're always on the first string. So a nice change in arrangement playing. So guys, I do want to remind you that if you want to get the tabs to print off, keep for your records. That was available at this link right here, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for Greensleeves, and also on that page was that interactive tab player, so you're able to hit play, you can loop bars, you can slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Happy holidays.